Hey everyone, we are interrupting your regular feeds right now with a rapidly developing dispatch. I'm your host, and today we're tracking a massive, ongoing digital connection sequence. Let's just jump right into the raw telemetry we're seeing on the board. Just a moment. Yeah, that's the exact phrase currently flashing across monitors worldwide. It's the sudden, totally unyielding holding pattern. Our feeds are showing that initial user connection requests are basically being intercepted by an automated security layer. So instead of getting immediate access to your destination, your traffic is just halted. It's placed into this mandatory suspended state. I mean, the phrase itself is polite, sure, but it is completely non-negotiable. It really emphasizes the intense suspense of this sudden standby phase. You know the feeling, right? You're right at the door, your hand is literally on the knob, but an invisible security detail just asked you to pause. You can't force your way through. You're entirely at the mercy of the system's internal clock as it evaluates your connection attempt. Okay, let's dive into this timeline, because the sheer speed of this sequence is absolutely critical. We're talking about micro-events unfolding in mere seconds here. Look at this. At 0 seconds, we hit that invisible wall. Just a moment. The system is scanning us. Then, almost instantaneously at the 1 second mark, boom, we see a massive shift to verification successful. The system wrapped up its background checks. But then, at second 2, the sequence pivots right back into a brand new holding pattern, waiting for OpenAI.com to respond. So we've got a really clear chronological map here. It shows this incredibly rapid transition from a localized security check to a confirmed clearance, straight into a sudden external bottleneck. And we actually have a major breakthrough update to report on that middle phase. The incoming data firmly confirms it. Verification successful. This is exactly the green light we've been waiting for from that initial security gateway. Seriously, I cannot overstate how crucial this update is. The system has analyzed the incoming connection, run all of its automated threat assessment protocols, and officially granted security clearance. Whatever invisible tests were happening behind the scenes during that just a moment phase, well, they've been passed. The connection has officially been deemed safe, completely legitimate, and cleared for the next stage of routing. Now, what's really interesting about this is the dramatic contradiction we're currently facing in the data. On one hand, we have a total triumph, verification successful. The local security layer gave us a completely clean bill of health. But then, instantly, we slam right back into a delay, waiting for OpenAI.com to respond. It's like, we passed the bouncer, we're standing inside the lobby, but the host hasn't come downstairs to greet us yet. It perfectly isolates to two totally distinct layers of a modern digital handshake. See, the initial security clearance is completely independent of the actual destination server's current load or readiness, so we're verified, yeah? But we're still stuck waiting. All right, let's synthesize this incoming data just to make sure we've got a completely structured view of the ground truth. Here is your current status update. First, that initial standby phase, the just a moment, that's been widely observed and documented. Second, our verification status isn't pending anymore. It is confirmed successful. We officially have clearance. Third, our current operational bottleneck is squarely identified as waiting for the final destination, OpenAI.com, to actually respond to the ping. And finally, we can report that multiple, independent data feeds are confirming this exact identical messaging. So this isn't some isolated glitch, guys. This is a uniform systemic holding pattern happening entirely across the board. Which brings us to the critical turning point of this whole dispatch. We are verified, we are waiting on the server. But is this just a purely passive waiting game, or is there a missing variable on our end? The system is paused, basically hovering in this digital purgatory. So we really have to ask the essential question: what is required to continue? How do we actually break this gridlock and force that gateway to open? Well, our analysts have been scanning the incoming telemetry for any sign of a user prompt, and we have just received a major update. An official directive has just been issued by the system. That's right, this is no longer a passive holding pattern. The authorities governing this gateway have mandated specific, required actions to break through this server delay. The system recognizes our verification, sure, but it's now stipulating strict technical demands before it will finalize that routing to OpenAI.com. So if you're currently stuck in this sequence, listen up, because the following instructions are absolutely not optional. They are the strict prerequisites being demanded right now. Here is the urgent multi-step action plan required to proceed. Step 1. You absolutely must enable JavaScript. This basically proves your browser can execute active, dynamic code. Step 2. You need to enable cookies. This provides the crucial session memory and state tracking that the destination server requires to actually maintain a continuous connection with you. And step 3, only after step 1 and step 2 are totally locked in can you successfully hit continue. Think of this as a mandatory public service announcement for anyone navigating this gateway. Without these active client-side technologies switched on, your verified status literally means nothing. The connection will just time out. So the crucial point here is that this isn't just about waiting around for a server to wake up, it's about proving client capability. The required action is the simultaneous enabling of both JavaScript and cookies. One without the other, it's going to fail. Together, they serve as the singular absolute condition to bypass this holding pattern. The system just needs to know that once it drops you into openai.com, your browser environment is fully equipped to handle complex web applications and, actually remember who you are. This directive is literally the ultimate key to unlocking that final gate. And this brilliantly illustrates the entire anatomy of the connection sequence we've been tracking today. Look at the initial phase. The status is just a moment, and the required action is simply standby. You literally do nothing. Then, in the breakthrough phase, the status upgrades to verification successful, but again, no action required from you as we wait for the server. But look right down there at the resolution phase. The status remains pending until the required public action is taken. Enable JavaScript and cookies. This right here proves that a successful connection is very much a two-way street. The system verifies you, but you have to empower the system with the right browser tools. Which leaves us right at the very edge of the gateway. The verification is complete, the directives have been officially issued, JavaScript and cookies are enabled and ready to go. The final command waiting for us simply reads, continue. But what exactly happens the millisecond you cross that threshold? Once the handshake is officially finalized and the server finally responds, what kind of digital landscape is going to open up before you? Well, that is the ultimate unknown waiting on the other side of this sequence. Thank you so much for joining us for this breaking dispatch. Keep your feeds refreshed, execute those directives, and we'll see you on the other side.